Okay, so I've gotten this question more times than I can count. How much did it cost to paint my truck? How hard is it to paint my truck? Can I paint you guys' vehicles? Can I paint things for you guys? And I haven't really answered anybody exactly with any of those questions. And the reason is because I wanted to sit down and make this exact video right here. The first question, can I paint vehicles for you guys? So in reality speaking, yes, I probably could paint them for you. Am I going to? Not yet, at least. In the future, once I get a lot better at painting and I have it completely dialed in to where I could give you guys some perfect results, then yes, I would like to paint vehicles to make some side money, to make more content, to get better at it, and to kind of get my name out there in that aspect. Yes, I would like to paint vehicles in the future. As of right now, no, I cannot paint them for you guys because I cannot guarantee perfection. And I know shops can't guarantee perfection either, but with me being how I am, I'm very OCD with the stuff that I do, and I would like to give you guys a perfect product for what you're paying for. And with my experience, I can't guarantee that. So I've only painted one entire vehicle, and I've painted 2 lifts and a couple small things here and there, but I haven't gotten to perfect it. I would like to paint a couple more vehicles, paint a couple more things, color match a couple more things before I put that out on the market of something I'm offering to the public. Because when you get into things like that, say I charge one of you guys $4,000 to paint an entire vehicle. That is a very reasonable price for a complete color change, door jams, everything, sanding, body work, all of it. $4,000 is a very good price for paint. You're looking at, if you just go to Mako for just a stuff and shoot paint job, it's like $1,200. And that's just stuff and shoot, minimal masking, things like that. With what I did with the Chevy, you're looking at a $5,000–$6,000 paint job if you take it to a shop. I have paid a shop before to paint a vehicle. So when you get into that, I spent $4,300 on the Ford to get painted, and they did an absolute terrible job. In all reality, the Chevy turned out better than the Ford did. And I paid $4,300 to have the Ford painted and some body work done. I did body work on the Chevy and painted it myself. So I think it's upwards of a $5,000–$6,000 paint job. I've gotten a lot of hate with telling people those numbers, but that is what I believe. I did the work, they did not. If we get into, if I were to charge somebody to paint something and they have a problem with it, that would come into a warranty term. And me not being a business, not having business insurance, anything like that, it could get really fishy very fast. It could go from someone being like, hey, I paid $4,000 to have this truck painted, and a year later my clear coat's cracking, or a year later my paint's chipped off, or whatever the case may be. That could become a very big legal issue very fast. It could go to small claims court, anything like that, to where I could possibly lose a vehicle, or I could possibly lose my house if the person wanted to sue for enough or anything like that. I'm not a legal advisor or anything like that, so I don't know too much when it comes to legal terms, but I do know that people can sue you in small claims court, and I think they can only get small things back. I don't think they could take your business from you or anything like that. But me not being a business, not having business insurance, anything like that, it could get bad fast. So that's why I'm not offering it, not until I can get things like that, get a business name, get an LLC, get a business license, get some insurance, things like that, to where I could actually have people bring me their vehicles. I paint them, I lift them, I do whatever. If you guys watch Ryan Mayer, kind of similar to what he's doing with the Twisted Lifted, I would like to do something like that in the future, being that him and I are very similar. We do all of the same work. We lift vehicles, we paint vehicles, we do color matching, we do stuff like that. I would like to get more into that scene in the future, but right now I'm not set up for that. I don't have all the right equipment, I don't have the right space, anything like that, so I cannot do that. Another question I've gotten, can I color match stuff for people? Once I get a little bit better, I would like to color match for people. That's not as big of a thing of I need to have a business license or an actual business or anything like that. In order to do that, that would be little small things that would just be a couple $100s here and there. And yes, I would like to do that, but let me get some more experience first. So all you guys that want some color matching stuff done, don't run off in the other direction yet, but let me get a little bit more experience before I start accepting things like that, because I want to give you guys really good results for your money. If you guys pay me a couple $100s, I want you to get good quality paint that's going to last, that you're not going to have any problems with. So let me get a little bit better at painting and kind of get everything figured out. Then we'll talk numbers and stuff like that. Okay, so let's talk about the next question I get is what materials do I need, anything like that. And that comes down to quite a few little odds and ends things. So first off, you're gonna need your clear coat, your paint, things like that. Obviously, if you're painting a vehicle, you're gonna need the paint. And then you have, of course, your paint gun, you have your air compressor, you have all these different little things that you need to paint. But what people seem to forget are the super small things, and that's where the money adds up. So you need paint filters, you need sandpaper. If you're using sandpaper like this and you want your time to go by somewhat soon and you don't want to become Popeye, you're gonna need a DA or an orbital sander. Because you're gonna have to do a whole lot of sanding. And if you want to get rid of any dents or anything like that, you're gonna need some body filler, which you're gonna have to sand even more. And just when you think you're done sanding, you're not. You're gonna have to sand more. You're gonna go through a lot of sandpaper, so be prepared to buy a lot of sandpaper, because I probably spent a good $60 on sandpaper because of how much I used. It got expensive pretty fast, so luckily I already had a DA, I already had an air compressor, I already had an air hose, I already had some sandpaper, but I didn't have any paint, I didn't have any paint filters, I didn't have a paint gun, I didn't have any denatured alcohol or degreasers. I had to go buy a bunch of rags, I had to buy primer, I had to buy all these little odds and ends that add up when you're painting. So obviously, if you've typed this up on YouTube or anything like that, you're interested in painting your own vehicle. So odds are you probably already have most of the stuff you're gonna need, because you're probably a DIYer. So you probably already have razor knives and an air compressor and air hoses and things like that. But what you don't realize is what adds up in the long run. So, like me, I am already a DIYer. I have a garage, I have a toolbox, I have lots of tools, I have an air compressor, I have an air hose, I had a DA sander, I had some sandpaper, I had some rattle can primer, I had some body filler, I had all these different little things that I thought was gonna be enough, and I was just gonna have to get a little bit more sandpaper and order the paint, and that was gonna be all. And I was really wrong. So on top of having to get more sandpaper, I also had to buy a sanding block to make sure I had a nice flat smooth surface. I didn't end up having to buy any more body filler. What I had, we made do with. If I could go back, probably would have bought some more and filled in a couple more dents that we didn't completely get to go away, but hey, you live and you learn. One thing that I did have to buy a lot of was masking material. So we got some paper tape and drape, we got some plastic tape and drape, we got a lot of painter's tape. I think I used like 6 rolls of painter's tape. But if you want to mask everything off, you have to do it right. And you have to tape all the seals, you have to tape the windshield, you have to tape under the hood, you have to tape under the truck, you have to tape all these different areas that you don't even think matter. If you want to know what's crazy, there is overspray on top of my transmission from it just sitting in the air and landing. Yes, there's purple glitter on top of my transmission. And I say glitter, it's more flake, but it looks like glitter because it just was overspray landed. So it's just a sparkly purple on top of my transmission. Kind of looks cool, but at the same time, that overspray is going everywhere. somehow it managed to get either through my air vents or through a door seal or something and got inside my vehicle. I had my mirrors sitting on my floorboard and they had overspray on them. They were inside the truck. So you have to be prepared for situations like that, and that's where the cleaners come in that you might not already have. So you might be like me. And I kind of already had some denatured alcohol or degreaser, anything like that. I have a lot of the stuff in my garage just for cleaning stuff. If you get a part that's off and you need to clean it, or you got some grease on something, you're about to ceramic coat a vehicle, whatever, you have something like this. But I had to buy quite a bit of this. This is lacquer thinner. So this is how I clean my paint done. This is how I was able to get paint off a lot of things. And what I don't have a can of, because I gave it to my buddy in Daytona, is a can of Overspray Remover. It's made by Goof Off and it works flawlessly. So I just sprayed it on a rag and I was able to get it off the mirrors and all the little spots inside my truck that had some overspray on it. That stuff works amazing. I picked it up from AutoZone. Unfortunately, I don't have a can of it to show you guys right now, but this stuff works great as well. You just have to be very careful with it because it does like to distort the finish on some things. So like my paint gun, for instance, I had overspray on this regulator right here. If it'll focus, and it doesn't look too bad on camera, but it's really hard to see. There's a haze over it, and that is from this. So this was like completely purple, and I could not see what pressure I was shooting anymore. So I tried to clean it, and it got like super hazy to the point where like you can't even see the numbers anymore, and it just was a pain. So be careful with what you're putting it on, because it might distort it. You don't want to like put it on like a window or anything and like have to go buy a new window. So just be cautious what you use this on, maybe dilute it. But I just use this on like hard things like the paint gun to get overspray and runs and stuff off the paint gun, to clean the paint gun out, and to just kind of clean little tools here and there, like screwdrivers I use to open the paint can, stuff like that. I use this to clean it. But like I said, I've had to buy I think 3 of these now, and they're like $9 each. That's $30 and lacquer thinner right there. I've had to buy 2 of the denatured alcohol. They're like $10 each. So we're $50 just in those 2 chemicals right there. That gets expensive pretty quick. I've probably got, I'd say $60, $70 in sandpaper, and I'd say close to $100 in chemicals. So we're looking say $170 in sandpaper and chemicals, and that's just sanding the truck and cleaning it. Not any paint, anything like that. So my paint and clear coat, this is where it gets kind of tricky. So I ordered 2 gallons of paint, thinking I would only use a gallon on the truck, and I would have another gallon to do suspension, color match mirrors, color match my grill, color match my bumpers, stuff like that. And since I messed up so much on the truck, I ended up using all of the 2 gallons, and I had to order another quart, and I used all of that as well. So if I wouldn't have messed up, it would have worked out perfectly. So we're just gonna go as if I didn't mess up at all and call it a numbers game that way. 2 gallons of paint, 2 gallons of clear was just shy of $700. I did order it off Amazon, and I didn't realize that it was a single stage metallic paint, which you cannot wet sand or buff. And so then I had to mix it in with the clear, and that's what ended up wasting a lot of stuff. But we'll say $700 in paint. Say another $200 in sandpaper, sanding block, chemicals, a cheap DA sander, things like that. So we'll say $200. That's $900 right there. You don't have an air compressor, you don't have a paint gun, you don't have an air hose, you don't have any filters, you don't have any mixing cups, anything like that. And that's where it can kind of get expensive. So like me, I started out with the $20 Harbor Freight gun, which is this guy right here. And it worked really well actually, but I didn't clean it properly and it ended up getting gunked up with paint, and I've got it pretty clean now, but honestly I think I've messed something up because it leaks a little bit of paint. So I probably messed up a seal somewhere inside of it, but $20, you can easily just throw it away. So I had bought that for 20 bucks. I sprayed the hood and the tailgate with it, and it sprayed actually really good for only being $20. I went to go buy another one after it got clogged up. They didn't have any more in stock. So I bought a $160 one that I thought had a 1.4 tip on it, and I got the whole truck sanded, prepped, and everything ready to spray, and I unboxed it. It was a 1.7 tip. So I was like, you know what, that little 0.3 difference isn't gonna make a difference or anything like that. I'm just gonna spray with it. I'm tight on money. I don't need to go buy another paint gun. I don't want to bother with returning this. I just want to paint the truck. So if you watched the series, if not, go ahead and click right up here to go watch when I painted the truck the very first time. It laid like glass. It was so smooth, except for the runs. That's where it messed up, is it laid down way too heavy, and there was a lot of runs and haze in it, and it was just a nightmare from then on out. Honestly, if I could go back, I probably would have just left the truck that way. It looked insane the way it was, and I would have just left it like that. But instead, I wanted no runs, no waves, anything like that. So I sanded it down and I shot it again and again and again and again and again and again and again, like 5 times. But I ended up cleaning that gun and taking it back. I completely cleaned it out. You could not tell that I used it. I made sure that it worked properly, and I completely cleaned the entire gun. I took it back. I got my $160 back, and I went to Lowe's and bought this Husky for 60 bucks, I believe. And the reason why I went to Lowe's instead of buying another gun from Harbor Freight is because Harbor Freight didn't have any more paint guns. They literally were sold out when I needed a paint gun. So that's where good old Lowe's came in handy. And I went and picked this guy up for like 60 bucks. And I used my old air regulator that I bought from Harbor Freight, and I made it work. And that's where you're gonna learn a lot with this painting, is kind of just learning as you go. You're not gonna be 100% prepared when you go in, because I thought I was. I spent hours looking online at YouTube videos, forums on Google, and everything, and I thought I had it figured out. And I had made a mistake way before I even started, and I ordered single stage metallic paint, which was basically stopped being used in like the 80s, because you can't perfect it. You can't get a perfectly smooth finish out of it. You can't get a glass-like finish out of it unless you put clear over it, which gets tricky. So I ordered this paint because I loved the color, and I didn't know there was a difference in single stage, 2-stage, or even 3-stage paint. I thought they were all a base coat, clear coat style paint. I just thought that 3-stage kind of came in as like a candy color, where you lay a base and then a color and then a clear over that, and you get this candy finish. That's what I thought it was, but I was unfortunately very wrong, and I got it, and it was a single stage paint, and one of you guys told me, don't use clear with it, you're gonna mess it up. And I listened to you. You helped me so much with painting, but since I was afraid to use clear, I didn't put clear over it, and I should have the first time, because that would have saved me so much headache. And I didn't clear it, and I fought and fought and fought trying to get a smooth finish out of the single stage, and you're not going to. I now have spoken with a lot of people that have painted, and single stage is the hardest thing in the world to spray, and I learned off that. So yes, that does make me, I think, a little bit better than someone who learns off a base coat, clear coat style paint, as I've already learned how hard spraying is. Now spraying with base coat, clear coat is so much easier. It kind of gave me a one-up on everybody else. But try and educate yourself, guys. Educate as much as you can when it comes to ordering your stuff. I spent $700 on the wrong stuff when I could have spent, who knows, even $1,000 on the right stuff, and it would have saved me hours. I have probably close to 150 hours in this paint job, because I messed up 4 times, had to sand the truck completely back down and paint again, and that's where it got really expensive. So it was supposed to just be just shy of $1,000 for everything. Paint gun, paint, material, everything was supposed to just be shy of $1,000. I spent upwards of, I'd say, $1,500 on ordering more paint and having to just put so much time of sanding and stuff into the truck. It got terrible pretty quick. And then staying up for almost 48 hours straight on the Daytona crunch was pretty rough, but we got the truck done, and that's all that matters. The truck is absolutely beautiful now. This passenger side does need to be wet sanded just a little bit more to get a glass light finish. The driver's side is damn near perfect. The driver's side has very minimal orange peel. I mean, you can tell it's a straight up mirror on this side. There's very minimal orange peel. I'm sure you could do a little bit more sanding and get it 100% perfect, but this side is the beauty side. If you come over on this side, this is the side that needs a little bit more wet sanding and polishing, but I was so wore out that I kind of just gave up on it. Does it still look good? 100% yes. Could have used a little bit more work to be perfect? Yes. So that's where it comes down to of you guys asking yourself, can I paint a vehicle myself? Right away, items that you need an air compressor, you need an air hose, you need a paint gun, you need paint, and you need sandpaper, and if you'd like to save yourself, a DA sander. So right off the bat, you're looking at $150, 20 bucks, we'll say 60 bucks for a paint gun, DA sander like 25 bucks if you just get like a cheap one like I did, and then some sandpaper off Amazon, you're looking at another $20-30. You're looking like, I'd say around $300 to $400 just to start out. That's without having paint. And then you get into body filler and paint everything. Expect to spend around $1,500 just to get your foot in the door with painting. And I guarantee you, you're gonna learn so much along the way, but that's the fun in it. That's where you learn more and you experience more and you grow more of a bond with your vehicle. So if you guys made it to the end of this video, please go down, hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything at all, but it does help my channel out. These videos cost quite a bit of money to make, not specifically this one, but like the painting series video. That cost me almost $1,500 and took me almost 2 months to do. That's a lot of money in just 2 months, and doesn't cost you anything. So just to hit the like and hit the subscribe button doesn't cost you anything, but it does help me out and it helps me provide more content for you guys in the future. So if you are looking at painting your own vehicle, it is very possible, but I would save up some extra money and kind of shoot higher than what you're expecting. So if you're expecting to spend $1,000, I would save up $1,500. If you're expecting to spend $1,500, save up $2,000, because there's gonna be little things here and there that are gonna cost you, and you don't wanna put yourself in a bind where you have to cut corners, because I kind of had to do that to a sense. I still got a very good finish, but it did cost me a lot of money and a lot of headache. So try to prepare yourself, try to educate yourself. If you're going to a paint shop to buy paint, ask them how easy it is to spray. Ask them how it cures, the flash time. If they have any problems with wet sanding and buffing the clear coat, if the clear coat has any history of fading in the sunlight, anything like that, you want to make sure you're very educated on, because I was not. I did some Google research and I did some YouTube research, and it cost me because I didn't actually talk to anybody in the paint field. So make sure you educate yourself. And guys, hopefully this answers any questions that you guys have with painting. If you have any more questions, go ahead and drop them down below and I'll try to answer them the best that I can. And I will catch you guys in the next one. See ya. All right, and real quick, I just want to say a happy birthday to Wyatt. Congratulations on turning 6 years old. Your dad was nice enough and stopped by my house and let me know that your birthday was coming up and that you watched the channel. So I just want to wish you a happy birthday, and I hope watching me can grow a love for vehicles and we can start the next automotive enthusiast at a really young age. Happy birthday, Wyatt. Enjoy your day.